Coming up this week, off screen.
Marky Mark, Sans the Funky Bunch, sets off for mile 22.
Gaspar Noé brings his latest to a climax.
Jables has a clock in the walls.
We meet Matangi, M.I.A. and M.I.A.
Donald Gleeson meets a little stranger.
And Agnes Varda takes us to Faces Places.
All of us to come and more off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the Movie Marker radio show and podcast.
Welcome to Off Screen, I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
Welcome back,
Hello.
Mr. Allen. So, fun times in film world. There's film news, there's film reviews.
Yeah, it is a film news. There's loads.
There's loads. We actually have news,
I feel like
Richard.
we've had 2 or 3 weeks where nothing's really happened.
Yeah, it's been a pretty dry few weeks, I think.
And then it all came at once.
It all came at once, and we got like a Captain Marvel trailer out of it too, which was pretty badass.
Oh, it was amazing.
It was good, wasn't it?
Can't wait.
I can't either. So we need a piece of film news to kick us off this week. Like you say, it's been an exciting week. What have you got for me, sir?
We have got a Bond 25 director. This happened
25 director?
a couple of hours ago.
Wait, is this yet another name on that ever-ongoing shortlist?
You know it isn't.
It is not, is it?
No. Of course it's not. No. Kerry Fukunaga.
Of True Detective.
Yes.
But he
and
wasn't...
Beasts of No Nation.
And he was going to do it, wasn't he?
He was going to do it, and then he did not do it.
He did not do it. Isn't he still credited as a producer on it? I think.
I think so.
Like that. I think something like that. But I would love to have seen his version of it, but I still love the one we got.
Yeah, I would not change that.
No.
But he wasn't on the list. He wasn't on the shortlist, but they kept telling people about.
Bart Layton was getting more traction than Kerry Fukunaga.
Yeah, but I'm fine.
I always say Fukunaga. It's Fukunaga, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Fukunaga.
Fukunaga?
Fukunaga.
Okay, I'm gonna have to
Kavonjine Wallace.
Okay, I will phonetically learn to pronounce the name of the director of Bond 25.
Yeah.
Do we know yet whether Saeed Tagmaoui is still the villain?
They've not said, but they have said that we've now got a release date. It's only slightly later than what it was originally planned.
2 months, say 3?
Yeah, I believe it's like 3 months. It was supposed to be November.
Is it not going to be beginning of the year?
It's now going to be Valentine's Day 2020.
Huh.
So, yeah, so that means that they're going to be shooting pretty soon still.
Oh, God.
So that's fine.
Hang on. A Valentine's Day opening James Bond film.
Yeah.
Might this be the time they finally wheel out the title, Kiss, Kiss, Bang, Bang?
Then Shane Black sue somebody.
Well, the title did kind of was
Wouldn't you
more
love to see a
linked to
Shane Black
Bond
Bond?
first. I'd love to see a Shane Black Blonde. Shane Black Blonde? A Shane Black Blonde?
Has Shane Black ever been blonde?
I don't think so.
We just have to call him Shane Blonde.
Shane Blonde. Okay, so podcast edition we got to plug as well. So if you want the full and extended version of this show with more news, more reviews, all the good stuff that we couldn't fit into the radio edit, it will be after the end credits. You can find that in the podcast edition. Usually goes on about 25-30 minutes, to be honest. And then we cap it all off with a moment of cage, because we like to send you off with a smile. And you can find that on Acast, iTunes. Oh, sorry, it's not iTunes anymore. It's Apple Podcasts now, isn't it?
Apple Podcasts.
It's
is that
Apple
what I have to
Podcasts,
say?
yeah.
Has it changed on my phone? To Apple
I think
Podcasts?
it's just podcasts on
It
your
is
phone.
still just podcasts.
Yeah, so it's Apple Podcasts, Acast, TuneIn, Deezer. Pick your podcast platform
all
of
the
choice.
stuff. Have you, just speaking of Nick Cage, have you seen the GQ video that got put up the other day?
Not only have I, our moment of cage this week is from that. Our moment of cage
Amazing.
this week is the opening moment of that video, because it's a
Oh, he does like the little intro. Yeah,
it's a great intro,
it's
isn't
great.
it?
It's a really good video.
It is.
20 minutes. It goes through Vampire's Kiss, Face of, just so many amazing.
You realise
performances.
by telling people that this exists, you're basically just spoiling the 25 moments of cage we could have gotten out of this without anyone noticing.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
You're not going to be around. That's what it is. You're just sinking this ship before you get off, aren't you?
Burn bridges, leave a mediocre corpse.
Right, we've got to do a review somewhere. What is the first review this week? We did the House with a Clock in its Walls.
Let's do it.
Okay, are you aware of this film at all? Because
I am.
thought I was.
I haven't
but
seen it
wasn't.
yet. I do want to watch it. it looks goosebumpy.
Right,
But
okay.
with Eli Roth.
The obvious thing, right, you've picked up on 2 points there, actually. Firstly, yes, Jack Black being the star of it does give it a certain Goosebumpsy-like tone, and he does play that same kind of a role. And yes, this is directed by Eli Roth. And if you're wondering, does that mean Lorenza turns up? Yes, she does.
Is that his missus?
That's his wife, yeah, who keeps turning up in every film.
Was she in about Knock Knock?
She was in Knock Knock. Yeah, she was the one who wasn't Anna de Armas. Yeah, because you remember you watched that film, you're like, I wonder which one of these two is going to be the breakout. And I kind of had money on Lorenza, to be honest, but it did turn out to be Anna. Right, so The House, the Clock and Its Walls, which is based on quite a stylized novel, I think, from the 70s. It follows a young orphan named Louis Barnevelt, who is played by Owen Vaccaro, who you might remember as the son from, I think, Bad Mums. You know, the sort of cutesy little dorky son.
Yeah.
You know, the one who likes the girl and he's supposed to punch her or something because Mel Gibson tells him to. I forget. But anyway, he is a young orphan.
What? Mel Gibson. You said Bad Mums.
Oh, sorry, no.
The other one.
The other one. Am I
The
thinking
dad
of
one.
Daddy's Home?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the dad one?
Is he the kid from Daddy's Home?
He might be the kid from Daddy's Home.
They're both terrible films.
Oh.
Both terrible sequels.
They're both terrible sequels. I have more time for Daddy's Home than I do Bad Mom's Christmas, but never mind. Okay, so, right, back to the point. Owen Vaccaro is a young orphan, Louis Barnevelt, whose parents meet their tragic demise. He is sent to live with his mum's estranged brother, played by Jack Black, who has this big, creepy-ass house. Massive, gothic, straight out of a Tim Burton movie house, but a bit more colourful. And every night, the walls tick. And the paintings move, and something's not quite right in this house. Here is a clip of Jack Black trying to cover up that little fact.
Don't I have to have dinner before I'm allowed to have cookies?
Well, why not just eat cookies for dinner? They're far more delicious.
I know, it's just, we have these house rules.
Well, not in this house. There's no bedtime, bath time, or meal time. You can eat cookies till you throw up for all I care. You'll see. Things are quite different here.
I had a lot of fun with this, to be honest. I went in...
I think it looks like a lot of fun.
Well, I didn't know about the Eli Roth thing, I'm not going to lie.
Well, you didn't know that he directed it?
I did not know that Eli Roth had directed this. I
thought I told you about it.
I was sat on a Saturday morning screening with notebook on my lap, pumpkin spice latte in hand, and I was putting the notes in the release date and the director in my notes. And I looked it up on IMDb 5 minutes before this film started, and it says Eli Roth. I went, huh? People can do anything with IMDb these days. Like, you can really put anything on. And then I noticed, I think it was a cinematographer, someone that had worked with Eli Roth before. I was like, oh, okay, so it really is an Eli Roth film. And yeah, okay, so weird thing here, it's not got any of his hallmarks in there at all. It feels as detached from the Eli Roth personality that we know as Death Wish did. You know, the Death Wish remake that was, 4 months ago?
Yeah, so he must have shot these like back to back.
You get that impression, but it does. A lot more effort did go into this, very visibly. There's a great production design in there.
Looks like Amberlini.
It is something of that 80s fantasy thing, with a bit of Lemony Snicket thrown in, because obviously you've got the obvious influence with the orphan child being sent to live with the estranged relative. And of course, magic has to play an element. Jack Black's got this brilliantly sassy BFF, who's, I won't tell you her backstory, she was played by Cate Blanchett.
Carte Blanche.
Yeah, and I'm just going to say, if they stuck Cate Blanche just front and centre on the trailer, just her black background, in costume, and because she plays it not entirely unlike Hela from Thor Ragnarok, I said the Dark World there. If it had just been her in her costume from this movie with a black background saying, I'm going to play a sassy something for, 90 minutes, that would have just sold me the movie there and then.
Yeah, I'd have watched that.
Yeah, if you then had directed by Eli Roth at the end of that, I would be so baffled, I would immediately have seen it. But, it does feel like Eli Roth here, if he's trying to make any kind of conscious effort with the style and the look of the film, he's trying to go Tim Burton. Which is an interesting choice, because I would never have put those two as influences on each other in any way.
It kind of looks like that. What was the last Tim Burton? The Miss Peregrine.
The Miss Peregrine's Home, it has a lot of that feel,
which
yeah.
I missed actually. It was, Yeah, I should watch about it.
Did you catch it? Not catch it on Now TV?
No, I missed it when it was on, so I'll have to try to track it down.
They played the hell out of that.
Yeah, and I heard that it was pretty decent. It was just quite fun.
It was pretty good, yeah, it was pretty good. No, I liked it, I think, when it came out. But this, very much same kind of tone. I did have an observation that I thought was very strange about it, which was, actually, if this had turned out to be the we want to market a Harry Potter spin-off for an American audience, this would kind of made a better one than Fantastic Beasts. It's set in 1955, I think, by the way. So it has that period piece feel as well.
That's kind of when Fantastic Beasts is meant to be.
Yeah, well, yeah, about the same kind of... It's post-war, isn't it, Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah.
Is it post-World War?
I think it's supposed to be.
I think it's supposed to be. Or is it... It's pre-war. Pre-World War II, isn't it? Like 30s New York, maybe?
Maybe. I thought it was like 50s, but we digress. It's very sepia toned, anyway.
It is. It's back in the time when the world was made entirely of sepia.
Yeah. We had no real colour.
What colour car would you like, sir? We offer sepia and sepia.
You want to weird it off brown? We got you.
Yeah, time before colouring. However, this film, very much colourful, very much a lot of colour in there. Quite impressive film. There is quite a beautiful sequence, actually, set in a garden. It's about the midpoint of the film. Very beautiful, sort of almost Harry Potter sort of leaning, kind of Amblin-y sequence. A lot of wonder to it, and actually might be the best thing Eli Roth's ever shot, if I'm honest. But yeah, I would go so far as to say this is the best film Eli Roth has ever put out. But I want to stress that that's coming from me, and I have a fairly low tolerance for Eli Roth. I think his best film prior to this was Green Inferno. So,
and you didn't really like that.
And I didn't. I was okay with it. I mean, it made a dude sat next to me on a train want to throw up, which was great.
Nice, yeah. That's probably more entertaining.
Do not watch over people's shoulders. That is rude. And if you do, you deserve all the horror that you witness. Anyway.
All of the vomits.
All of the chucking. Anyway, so I'd say it's fun for the whole family. It has that great wondrous feel. It has a little bit of a sort of a live-action version of George Lucas's Strange Magic thing from about 6 years ago, remember that?
That was terrible.
That was terrible, but if you turned it into sort of live-action and did it with people, you'd wind it with something close to this. I liked it a great deal. I think if you're a fan of the first Goosebumps movie, the Jack Black Goosebumps movie, and Harry Potter, this is a great halfway point. Rather than that actual Harry Potter movie where they just nicked the plot of Goosebumps and it was rubbish. Remember that one? Yeah. Sequel's out this year, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. I think that's what we're just going for with the title as well.
I think so. Fantastic Beasts and needless sequels.
Yeah. Fantastic Beasts, we stole all the good bits from someone else.
Fantastic Beasts, we all have mortgages.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. And you know what time it is?
I think I do.
It's climax time. I've so been looking forward to this. Okay, Gaspar Noé releasing a new film is always an event in and of itself, is it not?
I mean, it depends what you're into.
Yeah.
Really?
In terms of just doing something different, you got to hand it to Gaspar Noé. You do get something a little different. I mean, that last one was that the 3D erotic drama? Was it Love?
Was that Love?
That was the last one, wasn't it?
Love is straight up porn.
It really is.
The opening,
I love it.
The opening, like 90 seconds, 2 minutes.
Yeah,
is such a graphic sex scene.
Right, no. First of all, I can top you on that one. I sent you a link, I think about a year ago, for a peccadillo drama called Theo A. Hugo. I think.
Yeah,
it was a Parisian set gay men's.
Gay thing, yeah.
Right, I think I remember when we reviewed this, I actually checked the timer on the link, and it was something like the first 27 minutes were an uninterrupted gay orgy. Anyway, so Gaspar Noé did the same thing and got some applause for it. Now he's back with Climax, and this is really something. This is not an erotic drama. This is a very, I would say, alternative humanist kind of a drama. This is an ensemble piece. It has the feel of something like Go as a drama. It is set largely within one hall.
It's sort of an orgy then, isn't it? If it's just an ensemble piece.
Well, in fact, you could still say it is an orgy movie, but of a different kind.
Is this a genre that we're going into now?
Right.
Orgy movies?
Well, if Gaspar Noé has anything to say about it, yes.
What is the subgenre of that? Like,
James Spader movies. I don't know. Early Spader. Anyway, so this is set largely within a dance hall. like one single contained dance hall. There is also a corridor that runs around the outskirts of this dance hall, and maybe 3 or 4 sort of antechambers, like have been used as sort of napping spaces or something like that. So it is set within a very confined space. It centres around a dance troupe who are led by Sophia Botella, who speaks her native French tongue. She's native French speaker, isn't she?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Speaks her native French tongue this entire movie, and by the way, she is terrific in it. Nobody can move like Sophia Botella.
She's amazing.
I haven't been impressed by...
She's the original Blade Runner.
She really is. I haven't been as impressed by an actress's physicality in the last few years since Zoe Saldana. I think Sophia Botella was the first.
So Zoe Saldana in Avatar.
I always think of the team-up movie, the one that came out opposite the A-Team, The Losers.
Losers, yeah.
I always think of her in The Losers, and I'm always astonished, because she did that in Columbiana relatively close together, and the physicality...
Yeah, I think that was a couple of years after, wasn't it?
That was the physicality that she has in those movies, I think is outstanding. I think Sophia Botella has that same quality.
Same kind of thing.
And I don't know if it's a dancer thing,
But have you ever watched Christopher Walken in Hairspray?
Very true. Okay, so we have a dance troupe in this dance hall. They are rehearsing their big number. It's before a show that is going to take them to the US, where they will pursue their dreams as a squad. They do this great long...
Squad goals.
They do this great long, unbroken, OTT, insane 360-degree backflipping dance number.
Nice.
And it is like nothing you've ever seen before. We've not got a clip for this, by the way, because it's almost entirely in French. Into this mix, afterwards, you have a brief cool-down period. Like a sort of, like a party, but they're just going to they've got a bowl of sangria, and they're just going to stand around and have a chat for minutes before they all go home for the night. Unfortunately, someone has spiked the sangria.
That always happens.
Yes. Someone has put LSD in the sangria. So
this is generally the plot of a film.
This is genuinely the plot of a film. So this entire dance troupe, who have all consumed large amounts of this sangria prior to realising this, then start to trip out. And all of their insecurities, all of their fears, all of the simmering resentments, the jealousies, the unspoken romances, everything that's going on between every pairing of this dance troupe comes to this glorious, red-lit, neon-infused...
Climax, if you will.
Climax, if you will. Imagine that. The performances are brilliant. The style of it is insane. It is it's pretty much the perfect representation of what you personally would interpret an acid trip to look like. It has that otherworldly feel. It has the non-linear feel. It feels like time speeds up, it slows down. You never quite know if you're stood at an angle, if you're stood up straight. I think it's tremendous. I know it doesn't work for some people. Some people have really taken against it. And I sat with John Hearn through this, and he came out and went, do you know what, it was almost great, but they just needed a little something. And I'm like, I loved it. But yeah. Also, if you say this movie needs a little something, it probably means LSD. But
so you think if you were on LSD yourself?
I think if you took LSD and then watched this film, it would probably be the ultimate trip. I mean, it would be like snorting coke and watching Apocalypse Now. I can imagine that would probably be the only thing that could heighten Apocalypse Now. But that was an old Dennis Leary joke, actually, wasn't it? Was it? Dennis Leary used to joke about doing coke and watching Apocalypse Now. That was his thing. But on VHS, because it was the 1990s. Yeah. But this is a one-of-a-kind film. It is, for my money, an infinitely greater effort of artistic expression than Love was. I think it's more memorable as an experience and more memorable as a film. I will say, I asked for a screening link for this, for you. Because I wanted to make it available to you. And I was turned down for that screening link with a very specific response that I love. It's the greatest no I've ever had in my life.
Was it Gasper No?
Right. Almost, actually. And the response was, look, this is actually a really theatrical experience, and Gasper only wants this to be seen on the screen, and we kind of have to respect that, so we're not giving out links, sorry. And I'm like, my response was, that's the greatest no I've ever had in my life, and I'm now 3 times as intrigued to witness this. It did live up to that expectation, and it genuinely does, I think, have to be seen on a cinema screen. And I never... It's what the only thing I can say is to describe it as an art house blockbuster kind of experience. You remember the way that Gravity had a whole different effect if you saw it in IMAX?
Yeah, and in fact, I've not seen it any other way.
Well, I mean, I've watched Gravity 7 ways from Sunday, and I've watched it home in 3D, I watched it in regular 3D in the cinema, I watched it in IMAX 3D. IMAX 3D was like a different thing, though. It was an experience. This, same thing. I would imagine if you could get to see this on an IMAX screen, you'd be talking about an absolute game changer for Gasper now. But as it is, I do think this should lead to bigger and better things from, because it's a tremendous film. I do think tremendous. I will watch the hell out of this again.
I would like to see it.
And also,
I would like to see it at a cinema screen. I don't know where it's going to be.
I think you'd imagine you'd find it in Curzon or a showroom in Sheffield. If Meakin had anything to say about maybe the light. But, yeah. While the other one does no business and the other one's closed. But, okay, so we got time for a quick news piece? You got something for me?
I've got loads, but I don't know if we've got time.
Sure, okay, shall I do The Little Stranger really quickly?
Yes.
I feel bad shortchanging this, I know how much you love Dee Gleason, man.
Dee Gleason.
Dee Gleason. Go with Dee Gleason.
I love his little mustache.
So, The Little Stranger, which is the first film from Lenny Abrahamson since Room. Since Room.
Not The Room.
Not Room.
Never The Room.
Right. So, obviously, there's some excitement to be had there, because Room was tremendous. Not only was it tremendous, it netted Brie Larson her Best Actress Oscar, for which we should be grateful.
And also, he directed Frank.
Yes,
which is,
yes, of course.
yeah.
Big sign poster for that. I don't know if you've noticed. Big sign poster for that in Soho screening rooms outside the...
Oh, is it?
Next to the bathrooms.
I've got like one of the Frank masks.
You have, haven't you?
Promo, yeah.
I remember that. But anyway, so this is the story of a town doctor who this is set post-war. Local doctor who goes to visit this sort of manor-like home that he knows from his childhood. When he was a child, he was a poor boy in the community. He looked up at this house in wonder. There was an incident whereby he tried to break in and have a look around once when he was a kid, and his mum caught him and beat him for it. And he's now the town doctor. Of course, he's Donald Gleason. So, of course, he's, 7 feet tall, 7 feet of ginger-haired British classiness with the greatest mustache you can imagine. And he speaks with, the greatest diction anyone's ever heard because he is Donald Gleason. Anyway, he goes to this family home where the older brother of the adult children, of the sort of prime adult children, the older brother, played by Will Poulter, I forgot his name for a second. Will Poulter has come back from the war disfigured.
Yeah, he's got really big prosthetics on.
Really great prosthetics, and his performance is really something. And his older sister, who's played by Ruth Wilson, they are the caretakers of this home. They have an illness in the family in the household that brings the doctor to them, and this sets off a sequence of events in which the doctor finds himself drawn into this family, becoming a sort of a part and a caretaker of this would-be wealthy family who seem to have fallen on hard times. And all of this is going on as the brother is attempting to sell integral, crucial parts of the family estate to the local council, etc. And, wouldn't you know it, there's some sort of a ghostly presence going on in the house. Imagine that. Here's a clip.
My darling brother's still in Lidcote, arguing with the builder about the land sale. I do hope they're not drinking to seal the deal. Speaking of which, help yourself. If there are any glasses left.
Pay no attention. And I think you look very smart, Betty.
Oh, I should warn you. The acoustics in this room are uncanny. Every word carries.
You, Miss Ayres, look beautiful.
Hasn't touched a drop yet, Chip. Walk me too, would you?
So there's some great performances in there, and you would expect that from a film, being helmed by Lenny Abrahamson, because he does seem to get great performances out of his casts. And Donald Gleason, of course, he goes back to Frank with, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't think we've done anything else, but I listened to Donald Gleason on a podcast, and he was talking about working with Lenny Abrahamson, and he basically said, I'll do anything that he wants me to do. I'll be in whatever film, in whatever capacity.
Quite, yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
So it seems to have a good partnership going on.
Now, this is not quite as successful a venture as Room was, but I think with Room, there was very much the case of there was a concept there that was irresistible.
Well, it's amazing source material.
It is amazing source material, and I don't think this quite stacks up the same way. On its surface level, this would appear to be a horror film that has then been taken and filmed as something else. And what he's done is filmed it as, effectively, a chamber piece, a chamber drama. And for my money, that doesn't quite pay off the way it should. The characters are there, and they are brought to life by really, really great performances. Like, when is Donald Gleason not awesome?
Yeah,
Like,
good point.
it just doesn't happen,
Just
does it?
a dude.
He's great in everything. On his worst day, he's one of the best performers around. And he's kind of like an Oscar Isaac that way, isn't he? And,
Yeah,
well,
he's-
coincidence, huh? Star Wars guys.
He's one of my top 3 acting Gleasons.
Who's the third?
They all just kind of like share first, second, and
No,
third.
hang on. So we got Donal, Brandon. Who's the other Gleason? Who am I forgetting?
The other one of his other sons that acts Brian, is it? Or it's either Brian or Brian because it's
Okay.
very Irish.
Oh, hang on a minute. First of all, you forgot Paul Gleason, who is no relation.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Sergeant Dwayne something or other in Die Hard?
Dwayne The Rock Gleason.
Dwayne The Rock Gleason, exactly. So this, for me, doesn't quite have the same success as Room does. It's got the performances, but the story isn't quite as involving. It isn't quite as interesting. The characters themselves are. The problem is when it's balanced against this horror movie concept that's going on sort of discreetly in the background, it feels like a very misbalanced film, a very unbalanced film, very misjudged, tonally misguided film that maybe should have had the horror element dropped entirely and this run as a straight chamber drama. It feels like Abrahamson is so much more focused on that chamber drama that the horror movie element is given short change. And because it's given short change, it feels ineffective.
I think because of marketing, people are going to watch this because they like films like The Woman in Black.
I think so. Definitely
yeah.
like that. Yeah, and from the aesthetics of it, the great production designers, decrepit
that's
old
what it looks
mansion.
like.
Yeah, you have that obvious influence. But I say I liked the film, but it just didn't quite work on in the grander sense. It didn't work for me on a cinematic level. It worked for me as an experience. I sat there, I liked the characters, I liked the performances, I liked the direction of it, but I did think that direction was going in the wrong direction. So, yeah, one for the completist. If you want to keep your Lenny Abrahamson viewing roster up to date, then yes, definitely check this out. And if you're a Donald Gleason fan, you got to see this because the dude's killing it. Yeah. But Ruth Wilson, Will Poulter, great casting.
So I was going to say for the performances.
Performances are there, yeah. You will get something out of it. But if you're going into this looking for Woman in Black, boy, just go and watch Woman in Black.
And
again.
if you're going to see Woman in Black, why are you watching that film? The film's terrible. Go watch the play.
Every time with you.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
And we're back, Mr. Allen. So, top 5 for this week.
Yeah, all right.
Number 5.
Christopher Robin.
Oh, look, Donald Gleason again. I'm kidding. I know it's the other one.
Christopher Robin Begins.
Yeah, exactly. Ewan McGregor, Paddington, Paddington gets Disney-fied, Hook gets Paddington-fied. Take your pick.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it. I liked it. I thought it was charming. It moved me when it needed to. It made me laugh. We're all predisposed to just love these characters anyway. So the film's kind of got an easy ride of it. The film would have to be pretty bad to make you dislike a movie that starred Winnie the Pooh. And yeah, it doesn't do that because, we all love Winnie the Pooh. This indulges us in that way, and it's kind of fun for it. I liked it.
We all love Pooh.
We all love Pooh. So, has anyone tweeted us on the matter?
Yes, at Elise MyCloud says the Christopher Robin film, she could have just said Christopher Robin, has hit me straight in the feels, 2 crying face emojis, 5 hearts.
Number 4.
King of Thieves, or Cane of Thieves, if you will.
Which I thought was just rubbish. I really wanted this to be good, but the problem is the story isn't that inherently interesting. I
feel like it probably is, just maybe the way it's been told. I think a documentary would be...
A documentary would have been great. And, we've got a great documentary to talk about. Well, 2 documentaries to talk about later. But this just doesn't work. The casting doesn't quite mar with what they want to do with the characters. Actually, sorry to tell a lie. It does mar with what they want to do with the characters. It doesn't mar with what they actually do with the characters. The problem is the story itself cannot be depicted in a heroic way. And the film really, really wants to. And it cannot succeed in doing so. It feels like it is stuck halfway between being silly and nasty. It is just generally uninteresting. Because we all know where this inevitably goes anyway, it lacks anything in the way of real suspense. And if you look at something like American Animals recently, you think it's possible to do a heist movie where you literally open with telling us how this is going to end, and you can still make that interesting. King of Thieves does not do that. Not for me, anyway. Has anyone tweeted who it might have done it for? Or?
Somebody has. That person is at FFS Curtis. They say, if you're going to see King of Thieves, don't.
Okay.
Bang average, super predictable. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
Bang average.
Number 3.
Them crazy rich Asians.
Which has
spending money.
Well, it is. I mean, it's now opened, and a lot of the sort of more mainstream critics that I know have seen it, and I think their response has been decidedly mixed, actually, and it's been a little less than the glowing pre-buzz that it had. Which, I mean, I gave it glowing pre-buzz because I genuinely loved the movie, but I noticed a lot of sort of friends of mine now have seen it who didn't quite think it was all that. They had a good time. Nothing to shout home about or anything. Though, for me, I think it is something to shout home about. I think it is a great throwback rom-com. I think it's got the fun, it's got the feels. The thing that stands out about that film for me, against most regular rom-coms, is you're used to a rom-com having 6 couples, amongst its cast. You follow the main couple, but there's all these side couples. This is one of the first times in a long time that I can remember every one of those couples having genuine depth in their relationship. We know what the relationship is, and they are given ample screen time to explore the relationship. Like Gemma Chan's character in this, for instance, has quite an intrigue. Like, I'd watch an entire movie just about that relationship because it was genuinely interesting. But the 15 cumulative minutes of screen time that she's got is more than enough to satisfy. And also, hashtag Gemma Chan for life. But, because she is just great, isn't she? I'm a big fan.
I'm looking forward to seeing her in Captain Marvel.
I am as well.
Yeah, she's like blue, or like a bluey green.
Captain Marvel, did that have a trailer this week? I hadn't heard. Did it have a trailer?
Do you know what? It has. I might have seen it 6 times.
Might. Oh, okay, cool. So yeah, Crazy Rich Asians, I was a fan of, but I am obviously appreciative that it is a subjective thing. For me, wanting the best of a throwback rom-com, that's what I got with this. And I think the cultural weight of it as well is something that we really shouldn't ignore. So, has anyone tweeted?
At Lauren Evie, or Lauren Evie, says, I knew. There we go. I'll start that tweet again. I knew I was going to enjoy Crazy Rich Asians, but I didn't expect to absolutely adore it as much as I did. So great. So great.
Number 2.
The Nun.
Which has been killed, hasn't it? This has been given an absolute lambasting. I mean, I relatively liked it. I do think it's the best Conjuring spin-off, but I don't think the Conjuring spin-off's been particularly any good. I mean, the second Annabelle's better than the first, but again, very low bar. This follows the template more of a Conjuring movie as well, which is the really strange part, and I like Corin Hardy's direction. Did you get to cast the Nun?
No, and I probably won't. Like, I've not watched real spin-offs, really. I watched the 2 Conjurings. I've not seen the things. What's she called?
Annabelle's.
I've not seen the Annabelle's.
Yeah.
I probably won't see The Crooked Man until it comes on Netflix or whatever.
So your beloved wife has not kept up the Conjuring cinema visits.
No, we've got a backlog of really naff horror films to watch. So we probably will watch this in 4 years.
You say about really naff horror films. I discovered recently I have a whole new Wrong Turn movie to watch.
Which one is that?
That's got to be the 7th one, surely. Yeah. The last one starred Roxanne Pallett.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to forget that, don't we?
Oh, I watched a film on the Horror Channel the other day. What was it called? Yeah, because my internet was down. So
you had to watch actual telly?
I had to watch actual telly, and we discovered what an absolute delight the Horror Channel could be.
Oh, yes.
I watched
Lots of Star Trek Enterprise for some reason.
Loads of it. It's bizarre. I watched a film called Society, which I will have to tell you about later.
Please do. In the meanwhile, has anyone tweeted us about The Nun? Or do we have, in the way of tweets, none?
You're just the worst kind of person. At Justlit says, if you like horror, you can't rate The Nun.
Yeah. Okay. That's to the point, isn't it?
Number 1.
Pretty all right. Predator.
Yeah. Do you know what? That's actually not the worst way to describe this film. Yeah. On balance, because you're like, not a great movie. Some things don't make a whole heap of sense, but I did have some fun with the characters until I didn't, and I did enjoy all the Shane Black stuff until it was cut to ribbons. I enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was any good.
Yeah, it's really just kind of the editing that ruins it a little bit for me. But it just feels like Shane Black is trying to be 23 years old again.
Yeah, his interpretation of an internet accessible 23-year-old, and it didn't quite work at times, does it? I mean, to be fair, at least it's not one of those throwbacks that chucks in really awkward like social media references and things like that. But I found her with her Facebook profile and stuff like that.
Hashtag Bebo.
Exactly. Has anyone tweeted us about The Predator, and did they like it or love it?
I think they liked it quite a bit. At Bearded Snorlax,
I like it.
I love it, says The Predator was awesome. The banter was absolutely perfect, and I'm a sucker for the ragtag military reject trope. Also, I love Keegan-Michael Key.
Who doesn't love Keegan-Michael Key? Keegan-Michael Key's the man.
His ex-wife.
Fair enough. Does he have an ex-wife?
Yeah, he's got a new wife as well.
Oh, right, okay, fair enough. Apply. Was it? Oh, no, it was. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't it Jordan Peele who was like the perpetually single one all those years?
And then got married to Chelsea Peretti, who's
And then got
awesome.
married to Chelsea Peretti, who's like everyone's favourite person.
They've got a kid. Yeah.
Oh, wow. It's just funny how the tables turns it. So, have you got a piece of news for me before we review Faces Places?
Yeah. So, do you remember what a absolutely huge international cultural phenomenon Black Panther was?
I'm vaguely familiar with the international cultural phenomenon that was Black Panther, yeah.
Yeah. It's just incredible, isn't it? And it spoke to so many people, so many different types of people. Some people saw themselves represented in a film we've never seen in that way. And I think
that is very true.
It's really a credit to Ryan Coogler, isn't it?
Oh, Ryan Coogler did a tremendous job on it.
Just going back to Fruitvale Station as well. And do you remember seeing that for the first time and just being like...
I wasn't blown away by Fruitvale Station. I'm not going to lie.
We were blown away by Creed.
Yes, I was blown away by Creed, yes. Yeah. But
I feel like the man kind of like can craft magic.
Oh no, I think I should explain. I think with Fruitvale Station, I think Michael B. Jordan's performance is amazing. I think the Ryan Coogler's direction is amazing. I just don't think the film is particularly great. I don't think the story measures up for me.
Okay, well, you're wrong.
I know, well, I'm totally wrong.
That's just like your opinion. But you would say that he is incredible.
Oh, he is incredible. So, is he still incredible? Is he going to be incredible next?
Yeah, he's going to produce Space Jam 2.
Good God! Okay, so you redefine the cultural parameters of race within summer superhero blockbusters, and then where do you logically go next? I'm going to produce Space Jam 2.
Yeah, I'm down.
Who stars in... Is it LeBron?
LeBron James.
LeBron James is the star.
And it's officially happening. They have a director now, and I forgot the director's name. But, LeBron put up a picture on Instagram where it's like a cartoon locker room, like a basketball player's locker room.
It's like Bugs Coogler.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is. So Bugs, and then it's like point guard or whatever, and then L. James, and then whatever position he plays.
Yeah,
and then the director's name, I forget what it is, and then it says director, and then Ryan Coogler, R. Coogler, producer.
Wow.
It's amazing.
What a time to be alive. Like, I mean, do you know when the marketing starts for Space Jam, it is going to be the biggest thing ever. Like, that is just going to be huge. They will. Do you remember the old Warner Brothers stores they used to have? They will reopen those for Space Jam.
Probably, yeah.
They really will. I miss having one. I miss having a Warner Brothers store.
It makes sense to do it now. Just think about the 90s nostalgia boom. But
God, there's so much Friends merchandise you could sell. Yeah. But, okay, so I need to talk about a documentary really quickly then. I need to talk about Faces Places. And I want to tell you what it's originally called in French because it's absolutely brilliant.
Places, Faces.
Visages, Villages.
That's even better.
That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. So Faces, Places, Visages, Villages. Right. This is a documentary that follows, effectively, a road trip. A road trip taken by Agnes Varda, the director, and the photographer and general conceptual artist, JR, who I had not heard of. And JR as in who shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right. So the two of them evidently have been friends for a few years. She obviously works behind the camera. He obviously, works behind a different kind of camera, but works more with tangential performance art and things. They go on a road trip through rural France together and just decide to just do a bunch of art projects along the way. They find things that inspire them to create art, and then they create that art. I mean, there's one stage where they literally stop and they decorate a block of houses, and they put sort of portraits of the people who live in them, which is, I'm just gonna put it out there, by the way, very dangerous for keeping case against burglars, etc. Because, everyone would know where you lived. You're so easy to rob. But, anyway. But yeah, so they literally put like a big picture of a woman's face outside her own house. But it looks incredible. It has the feel of a sort of a weird, like The Trip. You like Michael Winterbottom's The Trip series with is it Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon?
Rob Brydon, yeah.
Where they just go and they enjoy restaurants together and vineyards and things.
I need to watch the Spain one, actually.
I've never watched anything past the first one. There's like 3 of them now, isn't there?
Yeah, Spain is the third one. We've done Italy.
Italy was the second. Then Spain.
Trip to Italy.
This has the feel of something like The Trip. I could actually see this having existed as a TV series, as a sort of a road trip series. And in a strange way, you kind of sit and think, I kind of would have preferred that, because there's so much of their characters that get explored. Their relationship gets explored quite a lot along the way, and they clearly have this unconventional but quite effective friendship, this quite touching friendship, and it's just great to sit and enjoy. That you get really taken in by just the dynamic between these two, and again, imagining it as a series aside, as a film, I do feel it's either too much or too little. I can't quite decide. And I can't quite decide between, do I want to see this 4 times longer and split up for a TV show, or do I just want to see this as a one-off 1-hour documentary? Right. The current 90-minute form of it doesn't quite work for me, but I was really suckered in by it and I really liked it. And I knew nothing of Agnes Varda or JR or even who shot JR. But, I know nothing of these things, but I really was taken in by it. This happens to me twice this week, by the way. But
you seem shaken by it.
Yeah, I really just knocked for 6. But I'm like, okay, this is actually really good. So, yeah, I recommend it. It comes out Friday. So, check out Visage's Villages, or as it's less imaginatively titled here, Faces Places. But bonus points if you find a cinema that you ask for a ticket for Visage's Villages
and they know what you're talking about.
And they know what you're talking about. If you find that cinema, tweet us at Movie Marker and let us know, because we got to celebrate that.
If you find that cinema, you marry it. You marry it. Cinema.
You lock that down.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the Movie Marker radio show.
And we're back for our cursory one last ride, Mr. Allen. I've forgotten that last one, actually. JR and Agnes Varda did actually direct that documentary together as well.
Yeah, it was nominated for Best Foreign Feature.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah, and she's won an honorary Oscar in the past as well.
Has she?
Yes, she has.
I somehow did not know that, but you generally know more about the Oscars than I do. You retain a lot of Oscar stuff that I do.
I really do. Like, I don't know how to change a tyre, don't know how to bleed a radiator. I can tell you who won Best Picture in 1987.
It's important to have the crucial life skills, and with your son on the way, it's great that you can impart this wisdom.
I'm going to impart that, yeah.
You can impart this wisdom, raise him right.
Yeah.
But be absolutely useless at everything, but he will know his Fellini. Right, so from Fellini to M.I.A. Let's talk about Matangi, M.I.A.
Yay.
Which, surprise, surprise, is the second documentary this week that I expected to get nothing from and absolutely loved. So, yeah, this is...
culture.
I know, imagine that. Imagine me getting some culture. So this is a 96-minute biographical documentary about... are we going to go with the singer M.I.A.? Are we going to call her?
Yeah. Yeah, I can do.
Because I went into this... I'll be honest with you. I don't... Right, preamble for this. I don't know M.I.A. I didn't know M.I.A.
Other than the song Paper Planes.
Other than... Exactly. She was the lady who sang the unofficial Pineapple Express theme song to me.
Yeah.
Okay, because Huey Lewis sang the actual theme song, didn't he? And she sang what became the unofficial song. When they repeated the gag in This Is the End, they used her song because it was so closely identified with that film. I didn't realise that she'd had hits before that she had hits after. I also didn't realise that it turns out she's kind of one of the greatest humans in the world, although she does seem to have a bit of an attitude about it, which I love her for even more. So this takes us, it's shot in this almost Amy-like style. The closest comparison I could find was Asif Kapadia's Amy. This is directed by Steve Loveridge, who is an old friend of, I'm going to call her M.I.A. for the purpose of this, because I think she seems to identify most as M.I.A. She was born in London, she moved to Sri Lanka. She has this backstory that you couldn't possibly have imagined. She moved from London as a child to Sri Lanka with her parents and her younger brother. Her father, getting taken in by the politics of what had been happening in Sri Lanka, decided he couldn't take it anymore. He was moving there to set up his own liberation army. And that's what he did.
Wow.
Yeah. So our young Matangi, as she's called early in her life, is raised in abject poverty, moving from one village of squalor to another. She and her sibling and her mother moving independent of the father. She doesn't see her father for many, many years until I think after she's returned to the UK. She returns to the UK in her teens. She then grows up as sort of your quintessential bohemian London artist. And as time goes by, she begins to discover more about her own heritage, become more fascinated by her Sri Lankan heritage. As she puts it herself, she is the only Tamil working in Western media. And I don't know whether that's factually accurate or not. Like, you'd assume there must be one or two more Tamil performers, like, out there. Maybe they've not identified as much, but she is quite prominent with it. She brings it out as a big part of her performance, and she then goes into activism and filmmaking in support of the state of affairs in Sri Lanka. We have a quick clip that kind of sells this for you.
I need to keep the immigrant story in all my work, always, because that is what I'm trying to make sense of. We're used as a scapegoat to Brexit. We're used as a scapegoat to build a wall. But people have always mixed and mingled and moved, and interesting things happen because of it.
So she has a lot to say, and I think because she has a lot to say, the perception of her is depicted sometimes as being that maybe she's a little bit troublesome, maybe she's a fire starter, maybe she's a political
fire starter.
Yeah, exactly. And right, I didn't know anything about her. Like personally, I literally knew the song. I went in, I saw this, I watched what felt like Amy. It felt like that kind of documentary, only there was no great tragedy involving the demise of the artist behind this one. But it had exactly the same power as Amy, albeit obviously not in quite such a personally tragic direction, specifically personally tragic direction, but it did have that caliber of filmmaking and that caliber of insight behind it. And as far as creating a portrait of a human being goes, this is tremendous. This is absolutely brilliant. I got a lot out of the music of it as well. I'd agree. It might be the most toe-tapping documentary I've seen since Studio 54 this year, which, by the way, is now on Home Ent.
Nice.
So
I will watch that.
Gonna watch that because I loved that Studio 54 documentary. This I loved as well. I thought this was genuinely brilliant. I thought it was a really well captured, really well realised documentary. Sidebar, there is an interview with M.I.A. by a friend of mine, by Simran Hans, on the Dazed magazine website. You know the magazine Dazed? Really terrific interview that just sort of works alongside this film. It's a brilliant brilliant way to cap off having watched this film. Check out Simran's review. It is really good. You should absolutely watch this. You'd really dig it.
Well, I have liked her for many, many years.
Of course you have. You know music.
I'm aware of it. I listen to it on occasion.
Ah, fair.
Yeah.
She's got quite a back catalogue, hasn't she? I didn't know.
Have you watched that video to Borders, what I told you about?
No.
The one with the ginger kids.
Yes. Sorry, I have watched it now. It comes up in this, I believe.
Is it Borders for video?
I forget what it's called. I know the video you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
And,
Ginger Kid Massacre.
Yeah, some of her visuals in some of those music videos are insane, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, the gold Mercedes stood on its side driving through the Bedouins in the desert.
Yeah.
That's an all-timer right there. That's bonkers.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely check this out. This was a really good documentary. I think it probably, it's something that when it hits Film 4 will be a smash. Yeah. Like, I think it'll be big maybe in London.
Has it been produced by Film 4? Are they involved?
No, do you know offhand? I couldn't tell you. I don't remember.
Seems like the kind of thing that
seems
they
like
would.
It, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I know it's been released by Dogwolf though.
Right.
So Dogwolf, they don't know how to handle a doc. I mean, also they know how to handle really, really good docs, because I struggle to remember the last sort of film they've put out that I didn't like. So, and also they put out Studio 54. So, hey,
all
ties back in.
connected.
Yeah. Hashtag it's all connected. Sorry, Marvel. Right. So, final review of the week. Let's talk Mile 22, sir. Are you ready for this?
I mean, I've been ready for all the other Berg films. That's what we just call them now, aren't we? The Bergs.
They are.
Wahlberg and Peterberg.
Peterberg. Yeah, the Berg movies. Yeah, that works, doesn't it? Right, so this follows... Right, I try and put out... First of all, the poster for this, which just makes me laugh because it just looks like a PlayStation game cover. It really does.
Yeah.
And the film plays in much the same way. So you get this sort of setup in which we have kind of an Argo-like embassy kind of a setup, only it turns out that the staff who are working in this embassy, which is in a very nondescript country, by the way, like they go out of their way to not specifically nail down the ethnicity going on here. It just seems to be Southeast Asia. That's kind of all we get, really. Yeah. And there's lots of Indos thrown in there, if you know what I mean. Every time there's a place, there's an Indo, for instance. Right. So generic, Southeast Asian kind of country, American embassy. The staff of this embassy, it turns out, are Mark Wahlberg, Ronda Rousey, Lauren Cohen, forgettable white dude with a ponytail because he's not a name on a poster, it seems, and Iko Uwais. Well, sorry, Iko Uwais is not one of the teams. Sorry, they work in this embassy, and the gimmick we're told is whenever the U.S. government needs them for Black Ops, the way it works is option 1 is diplomacy. To get anything done. Option 2 is military. And if both of those options fail, you activate option 3. Option 3 is this staff. This staff are Overwatch. Right. When Overwatch, and I'm doing the Dr. Evil thing every time I do it just because it amuses me.
And they can't call this film Overwatch.
They can't call it Overwatch because Overwatch has been taken by the video game. Is it Tom Clancy's?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And this, believe me, this feels so sub-Tom Clancy anyway, mixed with a PlayStation game, which is kind of where Tom Clancy ended up anyway. So, when the situation is dire and options 1 and 2 have failed, Overwatch is formed, and the staff of Overwatch have to resign. They all get these documents, and they have to resign, and they hand them into the embassy, and they just basically load up with guns, get into a truck, and go and do the job. And when they're done, if they've gotten away with it, they get to go and have the jobs back. That's how it works, right? Which you would think, wouldn't you, that would be a big dramatic moment? No, it's not. It's not. That's not a big dramatic moment. That's just a moment that comes in an hour into this 90-minute film. It just happens. So I want to start by saying the plot of this movie starts at the hour mark of a 90-minute film. The plot of the movie is Iko Uwais is a foreign operative who has all these specific stolen secrets from the other side stored on a hard drive that's got an access lock and a password on it, and he's given them the embassy the drive, and he will only give them the password in exchange for safe passage to the US. So the only way they can get this done with all of his people encroaching upon the embassy is to transport him securely from the embassy to Mile 22. Clever title. Yeah. They worked for that. They really worked for that. Anyway, but of course, if you've ever seen the movie SWAT, you can sort of imagine how this is going to go. Here's a clip.
That's my asset.
Who is he?
Lee Noor.
I don't want to know his name. I don't know what he does for a living. I want to know who is he.
A loner. No kids, no family, 100% accurate and reliable.
You mark him or he mark you?
I marked him.
He says he has the exact locations of all 6 sets of cesium. He's logged it on a disk. He says only if we get him out of the country and give him asylum will he open the disk.
You gonna deal with this? Or you want me to handle it?
I got it.
This is serious, right?
Oh, very.
So it wants to feel really procedural. It wants to feel really Michael Mann about it. Very Tom Clancy. Like it wants to be a Tom Clancy story by way of Michael Mann. It wants to be right factual, to the point, down and dirty. The problem is, it's rubbish. It's not exciting because it's so matter-of-fact about everything that you just can't quite get any real enjoyment out of it. Wahlberg's trying to drop in his natural, that Boston boy charm that he does. Doesn't quite work because the script's not there to make any of that particularly likeable. Because the plot doesn't start until the 1 hour mark, and this is one of those great big movies where, there have to be big tragic team member deaths and stuff like that, one of those movies. Because you've got all that to go on. All that happens within 25 minutes. So you've got an hour of standing around talking, and then 25 minutes of, now everyone who's just been talking for an hour, well, we're just going to give them all guns and just fire at buildings, like people in windows and stuff. That's the movie. And there's one really good fight scene with Iko Uwais in a kitchen, which we've already seen because we've seen the Raid 2. Yeah, you remember in the Raid 2 when they had that amazing kitchen fight? Same thing gets done here. only, is it kitchen or a medical bay? It might be the medical bay, sorry. It's in a medical bay here. And same exact thing, the kitchen stuff from Raid 2, are you picking up the scalpels and the chest splitters and things like that. And yeah, it all feels a bit been here, done that. It really does feel like mile 9,000 because, we've worn this out. And like the Peter Berg style seems to go, right, I'm just going faux documentarian with it. That's the shtick. I'm doing the grainy digital Michael Mann thing. I've got Ronda Rousey in a flak jacket. What more do I need? And the problem is all the stuff that's supposed to be meaningful in it isn't. All the stuff that's supposed to be suspenseful in it is inert. Mark Wahlberg, it feels like he's just going through the motions at best. And the problem is that the film is so pedestrian that it's hard to deny him that feeling. And that was kind of a disappointment to me. I think because I really enjoyed Deepwater Horizon. Like, I had a lot of fun with it.
I didn't see the last one, the Boston bombing.
Oh, Patriots Day.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Patriots. I thought Patriots Day was pretty good. Yeah. But this sure as hell ain't no Deepwater Horizon.
No, I think that's their best team up.
Yeah,
better than Lone Survivor.
But I tell you something, I mean, I thought this was some kind of franchise launcher, actually. And I can very specifically say, clearly, it either really isn't, or maybe it's based on some series of novels and it goes somewhere very different than I would have expected. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that, actually. I would be very curious to see if this is based on a series of books. It does feel like a Tom Clancy adaptation. But,
It looks like it just from the marketing.
Yeah, but a particularly dull one. But, yeah. So, alas, that is not Film of the Week anyway.
What a shocker.
Do you know what? I don't know what. It's some really good films out this week. For me, Climax. I would give Climax Film of the Week. I really loved Climax.
Do whatever you want.
But, yeah, I know. Do you know what? I don't have to answer to anyone. It's Climax. Climax is our film of the week. It's the off-screen film of the week. I'd go House with a Clock in Its Wall second, to be honest.
Yeah, I am probably going to see...
Oh, hang on. What am I saying? What? Climax or Matangi, M.I.A. I loved both. Yeah. It's three good films. Well, you going to see what, sorry?
I'm going to see House with a Clock.
I think you'd love it. I do. Yeah.
If only because that's going to be the most accessible one. It's one I'm going to be able to find.
But anyway, so some fun to come next week. What did we say the biggie was next week? The Glenn Close...
The Wife.
That's finally out next week. Like you said, that came around quite quick, didn't it?
Yeah. And, I did think... Yeah, I thought it'd be like January when it's out.
Let's see, we've also got Skate Kitchen next week. There is Dusty and Me. There is Black 47. And again, this sounds like the title of a Tom Clancy adaptation. Redcon 1.
So, that sounds like Tom Clancy.
Redcon 1, a Jack Ryan thriller. Yeah. See that? So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been a Candy Store production for Movie Market. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Case Allen.
And we shall return.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Offscreen. For more movie news, reviews, and more, visit moviemarker.co.uk.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Podcast extras. So let's sift through the film news really quickly. Just going to burn through it. By the way, there's apparently there is a suggestion based on a photo that one of the Russo brothers has put on Twitter, on Instagram. Sorry, no, it's Twitter, and he's put the caption "Look hard." And if you look very deeply within the picture, you can actually spot Avengers Endgame. As a
really?
Title. That has just come up in the last couple of hours.
That was rumoured a while ago.
It has, yeah. It's been brought up a while because there is that line at the end of the last one, isn't there? We're in the end game now.
We're in the end game, yeah.
Which is, I suppose that does make it sound like the ultimate finale, doesn't it?
I'm gonna try to find it.
In the meanwhile, can we talk about Fan Bingbing for a second?
Let's do it. Yeah, let's talk about her.
Fan Bingbing's missing. No one knows where she is. She's been missing for months. Yeah. This has somehow escaped the world media. So... Yeah.
Well, I think I said to you, if this was 2004, an X-Men actress disappearing, this would be front page news.
It would be, wouldn't it? But no, not at all. Meanwhile, Child's Play, that's getting remade, isn't it?
Yeah, with some pretty cool people.
Very cool people.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Yep.
Who's from Atlanta and loads of cool stuff. And also Aubrey Plaza.
Whom I adore, Aubrey Plaza. I think she's the greatest.
Yeah, but we don't know if Don Mancini is going to be involved. Apparently he's not.
No, Don Mancini's not going to be involved in this because he's continuing with the TV series which is going to carry on the continuity.
Oh, okay.
So the end of Cult of Chucky, that's going to get picked up with this TV series. Apparently Glenn's going to be back, which I hate. But, yeah. And in the meanwhile, this is going to be its own thing. So apparently they are going away, they're doing away with the serial killer possession thing. Right, that aspect is gone. So according to this...
What is this going to be?
Right, okay.
This is going to be closer to like It and Stranger Things.
No. Here's the quote. And you tell me why make this and call it Child's Play. Right. The new take is expected to follow a group of kids dealing with a technologically advanced dog that has been reprogrammed into a murderous machine by a disgruntled doll manufacturing employee. Right. That's not Child's Play. That's Small Soldiers.
Yeah. That's a different film.
That's a very different film. You've not remade Child's Play. You've remade Small Soldiers. That's not it at all. But, you know, it's over to them, I guess.
Right. Interesting.
That is strange. Okay, so we got to talk about the... Oh, did we mention last week about the Oscars scrapping the stupid thingy award idea?
Well, they're not scrapping it, they're just delaying it.
They're delaying
to rework it.
Yeah, which means, you know, it's not happening. But, which means I had that... I bought that Meg, you know, for your consideration, the Meg, you know, Outstanding Achievement in Popular Cinema shirt.
Nothing.
For nothing. Although I'm going to keep wearing it as a monument to how stupid the Academy can be occasionally.
Yeah.
But...
never forget.
Never ever forget. So the big news, obviously, this week is we got to talk about Marvel.
Yeah, we're getting, I mean, wouldn't you know, we're getting Marvel TV shows, but not the ones that we're used to.
Right, so the basic way this is going to work is that promise that we had in 2012 when they announced Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Was that really 2012?
That was 2012, 6 years ago. We just finished the 5th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, yeah.
And that's finishing as well.
That's finishing, yeah. One last season to see what happened after the snap, but which we'll find out next summer. But the way it was supposed to work was #It's All Connected. They literally came up with that for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And the idea was Disney owned ABC, so ABC would make the TV series that was set within the continuity of the films. So in the movies at that point, was a rather inconvenient point because Captain America the Winter Soldier was happening, you know, in what would have been halfway through the first series. So the first season, of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. then had to deal with Hydra. And it made that show brilliant. They got Bill Paxton to be a Marvel villain, which was
amazing. We could have done that in a film.
Yeah.
That would have been better.
Because it was film caliber as well. That was why it worked, because it was film caliber.
Yeah.
They then introduced real subset Marvel characters who were part of the S.H.I.E.L.D. infrastructure, things like that. And they got good movie actors to play them. So you wind up with Saffron Burrows turning up to play Hand. What's her name? I forget. Isabel Hand? Victoria Hand.
I don't know.
Victoria Hand, who's evil sort of S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and Nick Fury turned up, and Maria Hill turned up. And it was great. And you had all these really good actors playing Marvel, low-level Marvel characters who were never going to particularly be in movies. Yeah. And then, of course, obviously, the divide happened. Ike Perlmutter, Kevin Feige went to blows. Marvel Studios was separated, and it went.
TV's a different thing.
Yeah, TV's a different thing. And now, to be fair, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have been really good about it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. themselves, the people who work on it, are really good about it, and they've always mentioned the events of the movies because it's no skin off their nose. You know, you can casually throw in a line about the Sokovia Accords and stuff like that. It's fine. You know, the most recent season finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually features an offhand mentioning something is happening in New York. And that is...
we know what that is.
Yeah, we know that's the arrival of Thanos' ship and Iron Man and Doctor Strange fighting.
And presumably the last season, as you said, it's going to deal with the snap.
It's going to have to deal with... Well,
it's going to have to.
It's going to have to, yeah. But... there has always been that divide, and it's been more squarely aimed at Netflix than anything else, has been this idea of we have movie caliber shows going on over on Netflix with Marvel characters that are reportedly set within that world. They mention The Incident an awful lot. Characters have, you know, big framed newspaper prints of the Battle of New York.
You see the Hulk and stuff.
Yeah, you see all that stuff. But Kevin Feige doesn't seem to like that because he doesn't have a hand in it.
Yeah.
So, you know, he discounts it. We're never going to see Daredevil join the Avengers, it seems.
It's a shame. I think just the general public, they do see them being part of the MCU.
They do, yeah. And that's
because they're like movie-level actors. Yeah.
To be fair to those Netflix shows as well, they've been pretty good about it by keeping their action relatively small scale. Like, I would argue the end of...
Well, yeah, it's street level. That's what we've been calling it.
Yeah. And I would argue that at the end of The Defenders, when they blew up a skyscraper, that's probably about the biggest thing they could ever possibly do on one of those shows.
Yeah, and I don't think you're going to get that again.
I don't think something's going to happen again.
Yeah,
because
but they've said we're not going to get a Defenders 2.
Exactly, yep.
Yeah, probably for the best.
Yeah, because we need to keep these things low. So now, of course, Disney are launching a streaming service, and they really, really don't want Netflix to have all the limelight. So what's the story here? We've got 8-episode limited series.
6 to 8 episode limited series.
Right. That Kevin Feige will have a hand in.
He's going to be producing them.
He's going to produce them, but actively producing them.
Yep, they're having movie-style budgets. Well,
movie-style budgets and production values. And, well, because you look at something like Game of Thrones, which is like, what, $100 million a series for Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And then you think, well, yeah, but stack that against a $250 million superhero movie, and actually, they're about the same value.
Thing, yeah.
Although you can argue you might actually get more out of the series in the long run for less money.
Absolutely.
So it makes a complete economic sense as to why you do it. And also, Game of Thrones proved that movie actors doing, high concept cable dramas is still a thing.
Yeah. It happens.
It turns out it happens every now and again. They like to do that sometimes. We had a Glenn Close legal thriller for 5 years, that never got the attention it deserved, by the way. And that was Damages?
Damages.
So good, that series. I need to rewatch all that. That Ryan Felipe season was the bomb. Anyway.
No one's ever said that about anything, but Ryan Felipe is every part.
The Ryan Felipe season was really, really good. I think he was meant to be like a Zuckerberg type, I think if memory serves. It was a while ago I watched it. Anyway, so Loki and Scarlet
Witch are going to be the first ones. I don't know how I feel about the Loki one.
No, I've got a theory.
I'd rather Loki just be dead. And I know that in Avengers Endgame, let's just start calling it that now.
Yeah, let's do that.
I don't mind that title.
I'm still fond of Infinity War. Infinity War.
Infinity? No, I don't think we're ever going to get that. Yeah, I know we're going to get flashbacks of we're going to see Loki again in the fourth one, but then I thought that was
I think that fourth one
wrapped them up so well.
The fourth one has to have like a time travel-y, parallel universe-y element in.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Battle of New York, so it makes sense to see Loki.
So I think you will see Loki in the Battle of New York.
Yeah, exactly. But
what I would say, my theory on this, on Loki, is I think they are going to fill the hole. The massive, massive Loki hole.
Oh, that would make sense. When he falls off a bridge.
When he fell off that bridge, and then was somehow possessing Stellan Skarsgård, and then somehow went off and met Thanos, and then somehow made his way to Earth, then then took mind control over Stellan Skarsgård, who didn't seem otherwise affected by him, but then 2 movies later, Stellan Skarsgård just casually mentions that he has a god in his head.
Does, yeah.
He had a god in his head. So that's a lot of stuff you can explain.
Yeah, so that makes sense. What about for Scarlet Witch, then?
For Scarlet Witch, well, that could be anything. That could be her origin story. That could be, the side mission she's been off doing between Civil War and Infinity War. And there's a lot you can do with it.
Could be life without vision.
There's a very obvious chance there to do one that's set slightly earlier and bring back Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Yeah, but, we don't need to do that.
We don't need to do that, but I could see them doing it because that character hasn't had much of a presence in the MCU.
Yeah.
Can I give you my bigger theory?
That's right.
And so I will warn you, when it comes to Disney and Marvel, some of my theories, my really, really out there theories, have actually come true. And they are really bizarre business-based theories.
I predicted Brie Larson 2 years before she was cast as Captain Marvel.
You did. Yeah. So, here is my theory. They will do the Loki series. Whether it does that filling the hole in the continuity thing or not, they will do the Loki series. It will be the biggest thing on streaming that month because it's just going to be. This thing's going to be like a superhero movie times 6 or 8.
Yeah.
And it's going to start Tom Hiddleston and you can see the posters right now in your head. And there will be a Chris Hemsworth cameo. There will be a Cate Blanchett. There will be something like that in there. There will be cameos in there. And it will be a hit, and the day it launches, or after its launch weekend, we will get an announcement that the reason Taika Waititi has been having so many conversations with Marvel lately is because the third one of those series is going to be a Valkyrie series that also features Korg and Meek.
Yeah.
That is what's going to happen.
There's 100% going to be a Valkyrie series.
Clearly. Because
Where has she been?
Yeah. You need to explain where that series can literally open with her and Korg and Meek taking refugees off of Thor's ship.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Literally minutes before the opening of Infinity War.
Yeah.
That's how you open that series. It'd be like the opening of Deep Space Nine, the Battle of Wolf 359. You know?
I would watch a whole Korg show.
Yeah, you would. I mean, I could absolutely see a Valkyrie series that plays like Xena Warrior Princess in space with Korg and Meek as her comic relief sidekicks.
That'd be amazing.
Made by Taika Waititi for $150, $200 million. You give me that, I mean...
Yeah, I will pay this $5 a month or whatever.
Also, what are the odds of a Jeff Goldblum cameo in there?
That's going to happen. Because they're like best friends as well. Do you follow Taika Waititi on Instagram?
I do, yeah. Yeah, they're good friends, aren't they?
They're really good friends.
Because they're about as wacky as each other, that's why.
Yeah. I think this is going to be the closest we get to a standalone Hulk.
Yep, I'm thinking that as well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that could happen.
I'm down for that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It absolutely could. But
what else? I mean, there's so much you could do.
I mean, I'd give my left leg for a Hawkeye series now. I mean,
that's the one that I think is a definite.
Just give me an adaptation of Matt Fraction's Hawkeye series. Adapt it however you need to adapt it to work with the films. Fine.
And I'd rather have a Black Widow show than I would a film.
I would. I mean, if you do it as a show, then you wander perilously close to something like Alias, I think. But But again, there is so much room in the mold for that. So, and also it's Black Widow. You can still do something fun with it. There are so many badass characters in this MCU
that could have their own thing.
They could. And if that's the model going forward, then we've finally reached the dream. Because this is clearly where this was going to have to go.
Yeah.
And you think of the comic storylines that you'll never get to see otherwise. Yeah. And imagine a Shuri series. And I mean,
I think that's a
Dora Milaje series.
That can happen.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be Danny Guerrera leading a series in which she commands like a SWAT team of Dora Milaje who just go around the world fixing problems from a Quinjet.
Have you seen now that Funko Pop are releasing a pop where it's a Kai, but you can take her wig off?
No way, really?
Yeah.
I'm buying that. I've got to buy that. That is amazing.
Yeah. She's got the red dress and everything, and then the wig comes off.
Does she come with the staff? Because I love that staff. Her flipping through the air, by the way, and landing on the door in Black Panther is my favourite moment of that movie.
It's just badass.
It's just badass, isn't it? Yeah. But that is it. That is the future. The future is rosy. Marvel have got it. Disney Play, Disney Life, whatever it's going to be called, can just have my money now. I mean, you've got Jon Favreau's Star Wars series on top of that as well.
Yeah, and then the Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, yeah, because I didn't realise that was for this service.
Yeah, that's going to be the first, live-action redo.
Yeah.
So we're going to get loads of those.
That's so weird. I didn't realise that. I thought Lady and the Tramp was theatrical, and I'd never heard a mention of it being for this.
I think there's going to be a call for them to release it theatrically because so many families are going to want to see it.
Well, not only that, but if they do release Lady and the Tramp only on their streaming service, does that not then open them up to the same problem Netflix has?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, good luck getting your best adapted screenplay Oscar and your best original song Oscar. And
but apart from original song, are they going to want to do that? And Netflix have actually been making real gains in terms of that.
They are making gains, but I think it's going to be a bit obnoxious.
Next year when Roma comes out.
Oh, I know. Have you seen the coverage of this thing?
Yeah, it's insane.
I've seen all the Movie Marker reviews that we've had, and just wow. But I just think it's a little bit obnoxious if Disney get to wander into the streaming movie empire with genuine good treatment, and the reason they get that is because Netflix put all the work in.
Yeah, and they just swan in.
Yeah, that is beyond. I mean, I respect the hell out of it.
Especially the partnerships that Disney has had with Netflix in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
a bit of a FU.
Yeah, for the relationship that they've enjoyed, it's always been a really good relationship. Like Disney, Apple, and Netflix have always been a really good sort of trifecta. It's always been a really good system that works, and this streaming service has always been contentious at best. Factor into that Apple launching their own stuff as well, and that three-way partnership is now gone.
Yeah.
So
it kind of sucks, and we are going to get to the point in 2 or 3 years where you have the Disney service. We've obviously got Netflix and Prime, and then...
Can we just think about your future for a second as well?
I'm going to pay £200 on all these streaming services.
You're going to have a kid as well, so you're going to have whatever the Nickelodeon service is.
Yeah.
You'll have to have the Disney one, obviously. And,
because a bunch of Nickelodeon
kids
stuff are not...
is that one as well now?
Yeah, well, Netflix have got Netflix. I'm on the TV right now.
Netflix Juniors?
Yeah, which is free. Well, it's part of what you pay for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's kids box sets on Now TV Same thing for Amazon Prime.
Wow.
But then, I think we'll probably be paying for the Disney one because it'll come with all the Disney stuff. So that's
what do you currently pay for?
This Netflix.
You pay for Netflix. You don't
Prime,
pay for Prime,
but I've got a student thing, so it's only like £4 a month or whatever.
These jammy teacher training gigs, I tell you.
Oh, I know. Teacher training.
You were a student when you were a student when you were training to be a teacher. Yeah.
That's a good point. Now TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
What do I pay for? I pay for Netflix, Amazon Prime, Now TV, and Mubi.
Oh, you pay for Mubi?
I pay for Mubi as well.
How much is Mubi?
Is it £7? It's to be honest, I do it mostly for reviews because there are certain things that go exclusive to Mubi, etc.
Yeah.
Also, and just putting it out there, Mubi have Suspiria, so I'm going to need that in a month anyway because that's supposed to be amazing.
Is that not? Well, it's Amazon as well.
Oh, it's Amazon.
It's Amazon Studios.
I thought Mubi were distributing it, or am I getting the film wrong? What's the one? No, I'm sure it's Mubi. We've got Suspiria. But anyway, so the future's bright. The future's streaming. Here it is, your moment of Cage.
He was so obsessed with his lizards. All he wanted was to photograph the lizards. He never wanted to put me in a close-up. He photographed everybody else in close-up, but not me. But I remember, to my relief, a few fans were there. And they said, Nick, can we please have a picture with you? And they got right there, and I said, sure, honey. And we took a great picture again. I said, you see, Werner, some people do want me in a close-up.